Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel. We talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. And we're so happy to have you. Today is Sci-Fi Sunday on our channel, where we talk about all things sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book related. And today I thought we would rank all of the Superman movie actors. Who's the worst? Who's the best? Just something fun to do while we wait for the brand new movie to come out. So let's jump right into it. Each one of these actors is amazing, and each one of these actors has brought something to the role. So I'm only going to be breaking down the ones that have actually appeared in movies of Superman, and that's key here. It's only going to be the actors who have participated in actual movies, meaning that they were in the theater. Now, that being said, that means that none of the TV actors are going to be included on this list. If you would like me to include animated voice actors and TV actors from TV shows that have played Superman, then by all means drop a comment in the comment box below, and I will do that. I will get around to doing that. I enjoy ranking the actors based on how they play these roles. It's something that I love doing as a movie fanatic, and I thought I'd share this list with you, and we're going to break down these actors. And I will give you a slight brief history of the actors who portrayed Superman on film that are no longer with us, giving you a bit of information you may not have known about each one of them. I won't do this for the ones that are alive because you kind of can follow their career as it progresses. So first up on our list is the very first actor that played Superman, Kirk Alyn. Now, when it comes to Kirk Alyn, I do feel that he is the weakest of the actors who's played Superman. And I'm sorry to actually say that, but that is true. But then you have to look at the time that he played Superman in. This was a very different era. You didn't have the special effects to make his flying look great. You didn't have all of this technology that you have now. There was no CGI, there was no FX, there was nothing that could have made him look the way we can make him look today. There was FX back in the day, but we've progressed so much more than when he played Superman. And it shows. So Kirk Alyn was best known for being the first actor to play Superman in live action for the 1948 movie serial Superman and its sequel from 1950, Atom Man vs. Superman. This wasn't the only DC Comics character he played. He also played Blackhawk from the Blackhawk movie serial in 1952. And in 1978, he is the one who played General Lane, Lois Lane's father, in the Superman movie. That's right, he played Sam Lane in the 1978 movie. Now, let's talk a little bit about him. Alyn started as a chorus boy for Broadway plays, appearing in notable musicals such as Girl Crazy, Of Thee I Sing, and How's It Poppin' in the 1930s. He also worked as a singer and dancer in vaudeville before relocating to Hollywood in the early 1940s to act in feature movies. But he was successful only in getting bit parts in low-budget movies. That is, before landing the role of Superman in 1948. During World War II, he served in the U.S. Navy. Alyn is also featured in movie serials including Federal Agents vs. the Underworld, Inc., 1948, Radar Patrol vs. Spy King, 1950, and our previously mentioned Blackhawk from 1952. Someone had interviewed him and he recalled the day that he was given the part of Superman. And I love this story because I think it's so weird and out there, and it's just like Hollywood. You know, basically he said, Sam Katzman asked him to play Superman. He thought it was a publicity stunt and didn't think you could ever put Superman on film. They brought the people from the DC Comics over and they said, hey, he looks just like Clark Kent. They said, take off your shirt. So I did, and I flexed my muscles. Then the guy said, take off your pants. And I said, wait a minute. Now, I don't know why they wanted him to do that. That's weird. That's so weird. But hey, Hollywood is Hollywood. And Hollywood is weird. Okay? You can't do that. You can't say that anymore. But the story gets better. He said, I was 37 when I played Superman. I picked up that girl and ran up the flight of steps like it was nothing. Now, he's referring to a scene in the serial. He picks up this girl and runs up the flight of steps. And, he's 37 years old. Alan played Superman for the first live-action Superman serial released in 1948. It consisted of 15 episodes which recounted Superman's arrival on Earth, getting a job as a reporter for the Daily Planet newspaper, and meeting Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. The plot consisted of Superman's battle against the arch criminal Spider Lady. Okay, and that was really fun. Like, the villain Spider Lady, I don't know if she ever appeared in the comics. I don't remember ever seeing her in the comics, but it wasn't uncommon for serials to give us an enemy that really just didn't appear anywhere else. Alan gave the Man of Steel a different portrayal to Clark Kent, adding an element of disguise. This was the tradition of the radio's Superman. By contrast, his successor, George Reeves, played the dual roles more alike. After playing Superman, he again began to suffer casting problems. Apart from being featured in similar comic book type serials, he had few roles in television and series, and some even uncredited until he retired. Alan was reportedly offered the part of Superman in the television series of 1951, but he refused it. Now, he also shared a very brief cameo with his co-star, Noel Neill, as Sam and Ellen Lane, the parents of Lois Lane in the 1978 movie Superman. In 1981, Alan appeared as Paul Kent in a parody movie, Superb Man, the other movie. A role that lasted only seconds, as Kent dies from heart failure immediately after discovering the strange visitor from the planet Krypton. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. He participated in the 1988 TV special Superman's 50th Anniversary, and he also had a very brief appearance in a Battlestar Galactica episode. So, yes, he is the weakest actor on this list in terms of playing Superman, but he is also iconic for possibly giving us that different look for Clark Kent and Superman, having them have that sort of disguise, having them have that sort of moment where they don't look the same on screen. I think that is why we look at Superman movies the way we do. Can they play Clark Kent and can they play Superman? You'll notice that when he's playing Clark Kent, it's drastically different from the way he's playing Superman, and I really do like that. So that's the plus in him playing Superman. The minus, of course, is the time that he played Superman in was sort of a time when you didn't have much going on in terms of effects. Also, he looked kind of skinny to me. At least to me, I find him to be quite possibly the skinniest Superman. And if you told me he was 37, I wouldn't have believed you. I actually thought he looked way too young to play Superman, if you want my honest opinion. So that's why he's on our list as number 1. Now, next up on our list is Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh is an American actor, of course, who played Superman in Superman Returns. I liked Brandon Routh as Superman, but he didn't embody what you really wanted Superman to be. For some reason, it just didn't really click. Superman Returns script wasn't the most amazing script of all time either. Although I do know a lot of people who really enjoy the film, and Brandon Routh didn't make an incredibly horrible Superman. It just was that they tried to imitate Christopher Reeve. And you can't try to imitate the past. You do have to move on a little bit. It's one thing to keep the character kind of the same, but in this instance, they tried to recreate something that just wasn't able to be recreated. So for that reason, he's number 2 on our list. Number 3, I know I'm going to get some flack for, but here's the thing. Superman is a beacon of hope, and Superman is supposed to be this bright, shining example of how to live your life, of how to be this wonderful person, and how to be positive, and all this stuff's supposed to be Superman. That's supposed to be Superman. Superman is the last Boy Scout. That's how he's described in a lot of the comic books. That is literally how they describe him in the movies as well. And that's why our next actor is in the 3rd spot as our popularity scale goes up. Now, I love Henry Cavill, but he is at the spot because of the movies he played in. The Snyderverse movies were awesome, but they were a bit dark. You can't argue the dark, gritty reality of it. And whether or not you enjoy those movies becomes irrelevant when we're ranking Superman as the character, because while he was possibly, arguably, one of the better actors to play Superman, the script was very dark. And a lot of Superman fans that you talk to really didn't like that. It's not that they didn't like the movie, it's that they didn't like the darkness. Also, I'm gonna be real, he didn't smile in the movie. I never saw Henry Cavill smile in the movie. And Henry Cavill actually said in an interview that he wanted to play a happier version of Superman. So you have the actor actually saying that. And I've said this before in other videos. When you have the actor actually say that, something doesn't add up. So that's why he's in this spot on the list. Not because of anything to do with him, but because of the darker, grittier reality of his movies versus what people normally look at as Superman. And I love the Snyder Cut. I love the Snyderverse. I love all the Snyder Superman movies. Everything that Henry Cavill did, I love. But I do have to admit, it is a darker looking Superman. And for that reason, he is lower on our list. Now, next up on our list is George Reeves. George Reeves was best known for playing Clark Kent in Superman as well. But he was best known for the TV series. However, he also did play Superman in a movie, and that is why he is on this list. So he's one of the few actors that could be on both lists, but he did get to play Superman in a movie. So here's a little bit about him. While studying at the Pasadena Playhouse, Reeves met his future wife. And Reeves' film career began in 1939 when he was cast as Stuart Tarleton, incorrectly listed in the film's credits as Brent Tarleton, one of Scarlett O'Hara's suitors in Gone with the Wind. It was a minor role, but he and Fred Crane were in the film's opening scene. Reeves and Crane both dyed their hair red to portray the Tarleton twins. After Gone with the Wind was filmed, Reeves returned to Pasadena Playhouse and was given the lead role to play in Poncho. This part led directly to him being contacted by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers had him change his professional name to George Reeves. His Gone with the Wind screen credit reflects the change. Between the start of production on Gone with the Wind and its release 12 months later, several films on his Warner Brothers contract were made and released, making Gone with the Wind his first film role, but his 5th film release. Fast forward to 1951. Reeves was offered the role of Superman in the new television series Adventures of Superman. He was initially reluctant to take the part. Like many actors of the time, he considered television unimportant and believed few would see his work. The half-hour films were shot on tight schedule. At least 2 shows were made every 6 days. According to commentaries on the Adventures of Superman DVD sets, multiple scripts were filmed simultaneously to take advantage of the standing sets. For example, all of Perry White's office scenes for 3 or 4 episodes would be shot on the same day, and the various apartment scenes would be done that way too. Reeves' career as Superman had begun in Superman and the Mole Man, a film intended to be both a B picture and a pilot for the TV series. Immediately after completing it, Reeves and the crew began production on the first season's episodes. All 13 were shot during the summer of 1951. The series went on to air the following year, and Reeves was amazed at becoming a national celebrity because of this. Here's the thing. After 2 seasons, Reeves decided not to renew his contract and left the show. He was frustrated with his salary and the one-dimensional nature of his character. Associating himself with Superman had ruined his credibility as a dramatic actor. At 40 years old, he also felt uncomfortable playing such a physical role. Eager to jumpstart his failing career, Reeves established his own production company. So right there, that's him in a nutshell. And I like his performance, but here's the thing with him. I always thought that he kind of had a dad bod a little bit, if you want the truth. I like him as an actor. He was very good in the part. He didn't reflect Clark Kent and Superman necessarily in different ways. That was something weaker that he did. His reflection of both of them kind of did feel the same at times. And here's the other thing about him that I found just a little bit odd, is that a lot of times, at least to me, it didn't seem like he was enjoying himself. Now, maybe I'm wrong. He did embrace playing Superman, but it is stated that he actually thought that playing Superman had ruined his credibility. So it was kind of a double-edged sword for him. Now, in terms of his pluses, he played that role so good. He played Superman so brilliantly, even if he didn't establish a difference between him and Clark Kent. I would actually recommend you watch that series if you've never gotten a chance to watch it. It is really iconic. It is something to look forward to. If you've never seen it, catch it somewhere, watch it. It's great. That brings us to Christopher Reeve. And Christopher Reeve, of course, is the #1 spot. Yes, he is. You cannot beat Christopher Reeve's Superman. It's just the way it is. So many fans agree with this. If I didn't put Christopher Reeve in #1, there would be comments. There's still going to be comments about my rankings, but we're going to get into that. So here's Christopher Reeve. If you don't know about Christopher Reeve, he was an American actor, activist, director, and author. He amassed several stage and screen credits in his 34-year career, including the title character of the Superman movie series. Christopher Reeve was born and raised in Princeton, New Jersey, and Reeve discovered a passion for acting and theater at the age of 9 years old. He studied at Cornell University and Juilliard School, making his Broadway debut in 1976. His breakout role came playing the character of Superman in 1978, and its 3 sequels from 1980 to 1987. Afterwards, Reeve turned down multiple roles in big-budget movies, instead focusing on independent films and plays with complex characters. He appeared in critically successful films such as Somewhere in Time, Death Trap, The Bostonians, Street Smart, The Remains of the Day, and in plays like 5th of July on Broadway, The Aspern Papers in London's East End. During the off-Broadway production of My Life, Reeve had been asked to audition for the leading role of Clark Kent Superman in the big-budget 1978 film. The casting director put Reeve's picture on the top of the pile 3 separate times, only to have the producers throw it out each time. Through persistent pleading, a meeting was arranged, and after the meeting, Christopher Reeve was sent the 300-page script. He was thrilled that the script took the subject matter seriously. They also told him Marlon Brando was going to play his father, Jor-El, and that Gene Hackman was going to play Lex Luthor. Reeve flew to London for the screen test, but still did not believe he had much of a chance. On the plane, he imagined its approach to the role. He later said by the late 70s, the masculine image had changed. It was now acceptable for a man to show gentleness and vulnerability. He felt that the new Superman ought to reflect that contemporary male image. He based his performance of Kent on Cary Grant in his role bringing up Baby. And after the screen test, his driver said, "I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you got the part." Now, here's the thing. He also turned down so many roles in big movies, probably more than any other actor who played Superman. And why is this important? Well, here's a few of the movies that he turned down. American Gigolo, The World, according to Garp, Splash, Fatal Attraction, Romancing the Stone, Lethal Weapon, and Body Heat. Hepburn recommended Reeve to David Lean for the role of Fletcher Christian in The Bounty, also starring Anthony Hopkins. After considering it, Reeve thought he would be miscast, and the role eventually went to Mel Gibson. In the 1990s, he received scripts for Picket Fences and Chicago Hope, when he was asked by CBS if he wanted his own television series. This would have meant moving to LA, which he did not want to do, so he declined the offer. After his accident, he was offered the role of Mason Verger in Ridley Scott's Hannibal, and he turned it down upon learning that the character was paralyzed and facially disfigured, and because of the content of the character itself. The role went to Gary Oldman. Now, Christopher Reeve is by far the best actor to play Superman, and the reason for this is that he embodied everything Superman is supposed to be. And that's why he is my pick for the best Superman ever. Now, that being said, we have to look at David Corenswet. And so far, at least what I've seen of him, I think he's going to be okay. I didn't include him in the ranking because it would be unfair at this point to include him in an actual ranking. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Do you like my list, my rankings? How would you rank them from worst to best Superman? Let me know what your ranking is of all the Supermans in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. If you differ from my opinion, that's okay. I want to hear yours, and I want to hear your reasoning. So definitely let me know. As always, we want to know what you guys are thinking. Make sure you're leaving me that comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation as well. Then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers. And look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.